Welcome to the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Callback. The Neighborhood Pulse. You know, wherever you are in life, you never forget the neighborhood. This is the show that talks to real estate professionals all about the real estate business and how to maximize your career. Join host Kevin Callback from Realty Executive Cornerstone to learn what the Neighborhood Pulse is. Do not adjust your radio dial. That skinny man behind the microphone is indeed Kevin Colbeck. No, he's healthy as an ox, just putting himself into some great shape.
Damn,
he did hit his goal, 25 by 25.
I had to get the 30 by 25.
You did it by 30. That is awesome, buddy. You're looking great. Of course, today we're talking last show of 2022. We're going to pack it in.
Rock and roll.
But we're talking about bulletproof in your business.
Bulletproof your bit.
Man, you look great.
Thank you, sir. I totally appreciate it. I tell you, me and you have been on an adventure to eat healthy and be a little skinnier and, enjoy life a little bit,
Yeah.
It's easy to get wrapped up in life and just get busy and eat candy bars and cheeseburgers and french fries because you're helping people. And we love to help people, right?
Yes.
But it's like being on the airplane. The air mask comes down. Hey, put it on yourself first, then help others around you. Because while you're helping those other folks, if you pass out and they can't help themselves, it's over for both of you. So take care of yourself. That is probably the number one tip this year is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure you're in peak condition to help others around you. And you'll find yourself with more energy. You'll be more lively. Get proper sleep. Your lymphatic system needs to drain during that sleeping period. So, and don't become addicted to stuff. Anything.
So hard. That's a different disease and a different show and a different story.
That's true. It's true.
But you're looking great. Very, very excited for you and that journey.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And we're glad to be here today. Like I said, last show of 2022. Yeah. Is that amazing or what?
That's great.
This year went fast. There's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of changes, a lot of everything going on this year, right?
Yeah.
People
So did you see a slowdown? You're right. The big news of this year, of course, is the rising rates. We were out of the all-time lows. It was right about the second quarter they started to rise and rise and rise.
Right.
Did it affect your business hugely, or did you?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
It was. So we definitely had a slowdown. So it really kind of hit right around that time of the year where things start to slow down a little bit. Kids are back in school. The weather's getting a little colder. Interest rates were rising during that time frame. And then you're in the holidays, your Thanksgiving, then Christmas, the New Year. But we were starting to see a ton of activity out there on the buyer end. On the buyer end, we're seeing a lot of people still looking for homes.
Yeah.
I think the people that list the beginning portion of this year, I think are going to benefit from that listing early because there are a lot of buyers out there still competing. I think the market's still going to be strong. I think, so interest rates are going to stay about where they're at, maybe a little higher, right? What do you think?
For the next foreseeable future, when I say that, maybe that first quarter, it's not going to move much at all.
Right. So they're talking about an increase already in January, I think.
Yeah.
So a couple of increases here and there. So maybe a little increase, but wherever you're at. But employment numbers are down. They're up. More people are employed.
Yeah.
I guess that's what
I'm
trying to say. Unemployment rate is down. So that's good. People are getting back to work. We're getting back to business. Interest rates are there. People still looking to buy, even with the higher interest rates, which are more of a normal market. So from our study, we talked to a lot of different people in the industry, and they're thinking that 2023 is going to be a great steady year, a little more even balance between buyer and seller. So it's not going to be a buyer's market and it's not going to be a seller's market. So we're going to have to negotiate. We're going to have to, you put your professionals to work. So now agents that were just slam and bam and done, that period is probably past us. Right?
Yeah. When I look back at 2022 and people ask about the real estate industry, I say, well, it's like there's a governor. If you remember the old days when there's governors on trucks, you can't exceed 55 miles an hour. That's as fast as you're going to go. We started picking up some good speed, and then the governor took over and was like, I don't care how fast you try to push this thing. So it went from that downhill, hurry up, here we go, to whoa, and
Yeah.
not that it stopped, it just it peaked out.
Right.
And
Peaked
then it
out.
was just
Smooth sailing. That's it. And,
yeah.
and that's kind of what we're going into, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important for people to understand that now they're really going to have to talk to their clients and tell them when the seller is saying, I want to list it, 50 grand over what the market currently is asking, is explaining to them properly that, hey, you know what, this is really not the time to do that. Right. What's going to happen is you're going to sell it for less later. Then you're going to be mad at me, calling me every week going, well, how come we're not getting showings? Why is it not sold? Why am I still in the market? Okay. So, and I've had that happen a couple of times this year where we've had to tell people, hey, listen, we need to be here. And they want to start higher. So we're telling professionals in the business, if somebody insists on that higher listing price, you can do, there's a few things you can do. You can say, sure, no problem, list it. Not my recommendation, but you could. You can build in price breaks, so reductions or price improvements at certain dates, and write it right in your listing agreement. So that way you don't have to call and ask for permission. You don't have it. As soon as it hits that date, bam, you drop it down. Yeah. That's great. The other thing you can do is walk away. So you have to think about your integrity, your professionalism. When people say, why are you listing prices, houses at this price? Yeah. And your stats change and stuff. And people do look at that, in the industry. So you want to list them properly and have that conversation up front. Absolutely. And don't be afraid to walk away. I mean, I've walked away from some this year just because it was just not a good fit. And right. So when you go to a listing appointment or a buyer's meeting, they're interviewing you to see if you're the best fit for them. And at the same time, you should be interviewing them to see if they're a good fit for you, because they may or may not align with what they're trying to accomplish. They may not be ready to buy. They think they're ready to buy, but they're not. If they're not willing to get a pre-approval, don't take them out. Be like, hey, you know what? If you're not willing to invest this amount of time, I can't invest my time in you. Right. It's a partnership, so we come. And man, I'll tell you, if you do it right, your referral business down the road is going to be huge, because these people are going to appreciate what you did, what you know, and how you did it. And we're there with them every step of the way to get it accomplished. And that's one way to make your business bulletproof, is build those relationships with your clients. If you're fighting with them half the time, that ain't going to work. If they're like, you didn't sell it and I got a 40 grand overpriced, that's not going to be a good relationship down the road. You're not going to get referrals from them. In fact, you probably might even get a bad review, or, people like to badmouth before they give compliments. Yeah. So, and start with asking them for the 5-star review from the time you meet them throughout the transaction. Yeah. Say, hey, I'm looking for a 5-star review. That keeps you on your toes, and it keeps them paying attention that you're the professional and you're working on their behalf.
Yeah. And communication. I mean, I don't know if that's one of your points on how to build a bulletproof business, but communication is so important with everybody. Depends what state you're in. Depends on how your business looks. In the state of Illinois, it's an attorney-driven state, right? So you get attorneys involved in every transaction, and most every transaction. Right. But it's so important for that to communicate openly to everybody involved on the team. And the team is the seller's agent, the seller's attorney, buyer agent, and buyer attorney, title company.
Absolutely.
If you can have that open communication, then I think it eliminates a lot of surprises.
Absolutely. And there's that transparency. So people say, oh, we're transparent, but you never see any of their communications. They're never reaching out. So are you being transparent, or are you just being ghost? Right. being a ghost is transparent too. Right?
Yeah, a lot of times though, you on the lending world. Mm-hmm. Okay. So mortgage lenders a lot of time do not like to deliver bad news.
Who does?
But they sit on it.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll go radio silent sometimes. Right. I've seen it. Right. Yeah. And when I was young in the business, I did it too.
Yep. I think we all did, right?
I just and then you start getting calls. You start, hey, what? Like,
right.
Causes a lot of undue stress for everybody.
Right.
bad news is, it feels so good to just get it out quickly. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You got to do it. It's going to hurt, but you got to do it.
I agree with you 100% on that. And it's key. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor's office and you're waiting for news. No matter what that news is, you don't care. You just want that news.
True.
Or when dad's coming home, when dad gets home, you're going to get it. You're worried about when dad gets home, what is he going to do? It's that unknown that fears us, right? But if we just go to them and say, hey, listen, your mortgage ain't going well. This is what's going on, bam, bam, bam. And then they'll be like, oh, okay. And then we would look for a solution together. Yeah. And when you work through solutions and problems with people, they tend to respect you, and that builds that relationship even tighter because you're with them through those tough times as well as the good times, right? So I think you're absolutely right about that, and that's a good point. Is communication, and some more communication. Yeah. So that is fantastic. So 2023 business plan. We've been talking about that in the last few shows, and the last few shows that is still a number one thing to get your business on track, keep it on track, and make sure that you're following your calendar. Yeah. So you have your business plan, you're going to have your calendar. One, what do you do with your goals? You write them down. And I know you have a diet, I don't want to call it a diary. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, I got a little journal.
Journal, that's it. Yeah. Somebody
mine are written right in the journal. So when I open it up, there they are.
There they are.
Yeah.
And
business,
then you have
personal.
Absolutely. Right. And have personal goals too. That's the other key is, have your personal goals, whether that's lose weight, go on more vacations, spend more time with family, and business wise, save more money. And business wise, maybe it's close 3 more deals, maybe it's meet 10 more lenders, maybe whatever the case is. But not only do you write down what your goal is, but write down how you're going to get there. So it's easy to say, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds by in 2 months. Okay. How are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to stop eating fast food. Okay, what else are you going to do? Yeah. Because that ain't going to get it done, but what else are you going to do? And write down that path. So whatever your plans are, whether they're personal or professional, write them down in a journal. And I recommend you can use the same journal for those goals and write them down, because every day you should be addressing both of those. So when you open that book every day, you should be able to see what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So mine, I paperclip, right? Because I didn't get through all the journal, right? This year, 2022. So I paperclip 2022, and so when I open up, it's right to this year's.
Awesome.
Now it's fun too to go back. I could we could do a whole show on it, but I could show you 2010's goals.
Wow, that's great.
Because I hang on to them, and a lot of times I hang on to them just because maybe something I wrote down in 2010 didn't come true until now.
Right. Yeah.
Then I can go back and check it off. Hey, got it.
That's right. My goal this year is to have a teenage daughter. Well, it might take a while. We have to work on this one for sure. Right. Crazy. But yeah, write it down. Write how you're going to get there. Visit it regularly, and share it with people. If it's a goal that other people can help you accomplish, share it with them. If you're telling your family, hey, this year I want to spend more time with you guys. I just want to do more events and stuff instead of presents and all this stuff. Let's go to Weber Grill and do a class. Let's go to Blue Man Group. Let's go to the zoo. Let's whatever it is, and let them know that goal. So when you're working 90 hours a week, they could say, hey, how's that zoo trip coming? And you're like, and maybe it's time to cut back a little bit, right? Yeah. And I know nobody's going to want to hear this. Is only take the amount of business you can handle. Because that's easy to do. And this year, the past 2 years was crazy with business, and a lot of people had more business than they could handle, and it affected their business. And I started getting to that point, and I said, whoop, stop. And you have to turn business down. Now, turning it down doesn't mean you can't refer it to somebody, but in the last couple of years, not many people had much time for a referral. So it was kind of crazy. So at times you do have to turn down business because now otherwise you're just giving bad service to a lot of people instead of great service to a number of people you can handle. So
I'm jotting that down because that's as a salesperson's mentality, that's hard to do.
You're right.
Because the more I close, the more I make.
Sure. And people that are people driven, people that want to please people. When you have to tell somebody, I don't have the bandwidth right now, it's hard to do that too, especially because it might be, somebody you've known for a while. It says, hey, I want to sell my house. And you're like, oh, so you have to pick and choose.
I've heard from a lot of people, I'm in a lot of referral groups. I've heard from a lot of people, right? It's like, oh, it's okay to fire a client.
Yeah.
I understand what they're saying, but maybe if I would only take the amount that I can handle, I wouldn't have had to fire the client. I mean, there's certain situations, I'm sure you're working with a jerk or whatever, but
right.
But that's just kind of started my brain kind of clicking, going,
right.
Maybe you don't have to fire a client if you're only taking what you can handle.
Right. And usually, and that's where we see a lot of people getting that rub is they're busy with so many things that when a client asks a question that isn't a normal question, or they ask you to do something that's a little bit above and beyond, is we have a hard time finding the time to do that, and we get frustrated. And we're not frustrated necessarily with the client. We may take it out on them, but definitely. you internalizing it, you're like, oh, I don't have time for this right now, and you get frustrated, and maybe it comes out on your family, on your friends, on the clients, wherever. Misplaced anger, so take responsibility and work what you can, and you're going to make more business in the long run with referrals and stuff, and you won't have to pay for leads or get referrals, or you'll have your own referral network, and that's beautiful.
Wow.
That's beautiful. When you can have 100% referral business, that's the best. That is the best, because it's people that know, like, and trust you, and you're making a living on the work that you've performed, and that's great. I mean, that's nothing better than that. Well, a few things, but in business world, that's one of the best. So it's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. Hey, our good friend Anthony Collin, of course, from the Reject Rundown here Sundays.
Beautiful.
Hey, T, what's happening, brother? Always make time for yourself. We as people can handle only so much. These new kids will learn it by experience.
That's right. That's true.
So it's so true. And that's kind of what you the realization you kind of came to at the end in the fourth quarter of this year was, wait a minute,
right?
I need to focus a little bit on myself and spend some time and energy on me,
right?
And it's paid huge dividends,
right?
It's lowered your blood pressure. It's
right.
You look great.
That's it.
It's a brilliant take right there.
Take care of yourself. That's like I said, that's number one. And it was a wake up call for me when I'm 250 pounds trekking up the stairs, and I'm like, I get a little winded. I'm like, whoa, hold on. This is I'm just a heart attack waiting to happen. So you start eating healthier, you start getting more active, you're meeting more people. It's just really been enjoyable to get here. So take care of yourself is always good too. You got your business plan, get your goals, write your goals down, and then share them with other people. And that same thing if you're trying to lose weight, quit smoking, whatever, is share those goals with people, because they would love to help you.
Let's put a caveat there, if we could, or an asterisk or a bullet point, whatever the case may be, is share it with people who can hold you accountable. Okay, because if I just go out and share it with a lot of people and they don't want to hold me accountable, they're going to pass judgment. I see you're still drinking. I see you're still and they don't care, right?
That's true.
And there's some people that you're going to share it with that go, good luck with that going in their mind.
And
go, right. Now, if you have a mentor, if you have, Kevin, you and I have a very good relationship, and we played this. You lost 20 pounds in that time. I've lost 20 pounds over 6 months.
That's great.
Unfortunately, I have to say that I fell into the Christmas cookie habit, so I didn't lose where I wanted to be. Right, I wanted to lose 5 more pounds in that, and I didn't hit it, but the inspiration and the accountability that you and I have now, I can go, okay, I got to get back on track. I've got to, where you take somebody like Uncle Pete, God rest his soul, but he was like, I don't care. I'm fat and out of shape. I'm happy.
That's right.
You're like, oh, all right.
Okay. Hey, and some people are. Some people are like, hey, you know what? Living large, loving it, and I'm not going to slow down for nothing.
Right. I think especially in business, it's good to share it with the people. who are going to help hold you accountable.
Right.
And that it has to be a mentor. It may not be your boss.
Oh gosh, no, it might not be. Yeah.
But you have to have made a connection with somebody who's kind of your mentor, I think.
Yeah. Mentors are amazing. Yes, absolutely.
Or I guess another rower in the boat.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if you and I are rowing in the same direction, we're going to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the relationship we have.
Right.
And I know that, in a minute I can call you if I'm like, oh God, dude, I'm knee deep in this pumpkin pie.
That's right. That's right. You got an extra spoon? So that's funny. Yeah. And that kind of leads me into the next segment here, which is a great segue. Big word, just hurt my brain thinking of it. But it is have coffee with other professionals in your industry that you don't know. So when you look out, so when I got into real estate, and I'll throw some themes out there. So a number of years back, I'm like, man, Kim Keefe is just rocking it, man. Becky Kirchner, they're just amazing. Don Bremer, Rich Tepper. I mean, there's a bunch of people. I could just go on naming people all the time that are super successful in this area. Lisa Wolf, is call those folks up and invite them to coffee. Say, hey, love to have coffee with you, just to get to know you, get to know a little bit, and you'd be surprised on how that relationship will grow. In many circumstances, and that you can share tips and tricks and ask questions. You're like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, I've never done staging before. Hey, I've, my photographer's not doing a great job. Who are you using? You don't mind if I use your photographer? Because they have amazing, so, and then talk to those folks and know who they are and know where they come from. Because we are all just people underneath. We all get nervous. We all get scared. We all get frustrated. We're people that all have a lot of common interests, a lot of common goals, and a lot of common feelings. Yeah. Right up here on my whiteboard here at home, in the studio, in my office, it's number, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Learn from greatness. Learn from greatness, right?
Yeah. And that's what you're saying is you have that cup of coffee and learn from those folks on what they're doing. Tony says, sometimes it's good to get with your faults in order to reevaluate your path.
That's right.
It'll give you a chance to refocus and possibly get a better deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what that coffee will do is you'll sit there and you'll think, man, I just blew this one deal. I'm the only one in the world that's blown this deal. Next thing you know, you talk with them, you have coffee, and they go, you're like, oh God, that's happened to you, and you're so successful.
Right. Yeah, and that's it. Is every listing appointment you go on, you will not get 100%.
Right.
I don't care who you are. So we've all had those failures or those mishaps or the, man, I wish I would have done that differently. And sometimes we don't realize our own faults until you ask somebody.
Yeah.
So, and this is a tough one, is when you meet people, well, the people in your life, the people that are closest to you, is go to them and say, hey, you know what? Can I ask you a favor? Can you tell me some things that I do well? And let them say, you know what? You're a good father. You keep a clean toilet bowl. You whatever the case is. And when you think they're done, say, what else? What else? Until they're like, that's it. What do you want? Right?
Yeah.
Great. Can you do me another favor? Tell me the things that I don't do well. And when they say it, don't get mad. Don't fluster. Don't respond. Try to be smiley. Don't get the eyes of death on you. Right. And then say, what else? What else? And it's going to take those good friendships and those people that are closest to you. They're going to say, hey, you know what? You are doing this, and this is not good for you. You're doing this, and it's I see it hurting your business, but I was afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
When you dig deep and you entrench the people that love you and care for you and that are in your circles, you're going to find out some things about yourself that you may not even know that you do. Right. Maybe I snap my finger or click. Maybe I eat with my mouth open or something. Suck my teeth. Like, you know what? You suck your teeth, and I'm ready to punch me. Punch right in the kisser.
When I was young in the pulpit, so being a deacon, I would.
Okay.
Before I would say anything, right? I would like. right? And I didn't know that I was doing that.
Yeah.
And I had a pastor come up and be like, "You really got to stop that." I go, "Stop what?" He goes, "Before you say anything, you do this."
That's right.
And I'm like, "Huh."
Oh,
So I started
oh,
paying
oh.
I started paying attention to that, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I do that all the time." Here at the station, Derek Bear, I love him. You know, he's like, the interesting thing is, can't you say that 15 times a show?
That's right.
You know, the interesting thing is,
Yeah, interesting.
and I go, so I go back and I started listening to
Right.
shows, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I say that all the time. And I did it because I found it interesting.
Right.
And when I would say, the interesting thing is, people started listening, like, wait,
Right.
oh, this is going to be interesting.
Right.
But then I'm like, I say it all the time.
That's right.
So now I'll say it once in a while, but I try to draw back from that,
Right.
because it may not be very interesting.
And the interesting thing is, they're like, that's not.
And then, of course,
That's
a
not.
lot of people of the 35 million subscribed listeners here through TuneIn and whatnot, started making a drinking game out of it, and half the population of those 35 million people were drunk by the time
by noon.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, drink. Yeah.
Oh, that is funny.
But it has helped me become a better orator. It's helped me
Yeah.
become a better producer. Hey,
Sure.
Ted, how are you, buddy?
That's
Glad to
it.
have you with us.
Hey, yep. Good to see you, Ted. Or here, you see your name anyway. That's the yeah. So I show houses, and when I show houses, I didn't realize he even did it. He's like, so the client goes, well, "What's wrong?" I said, what do you mean? What's wrong? He says, every time you see something that seems out of line or something a little fishy or whatever, you go, "Hmm." He says, so every time I hear you go, "Hmm," I'm looking to see what you're looking at, because I know that there's something that you're like, that's I don't know about that, right?
Sure.
So I says, oh, so I never realized I did that.
Yeah.
The other thing I do is every time I go into a house, I yell in there, hello, hello,
Right.
just to make sure, because there's been people inside there where
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, there's somebody here. You're like, crank.
There's some
You know,
stories.
still,
you really
yeah.
can tell. People running
Amen.
by the door.
Right.
Ooh, yes, they call.
So I do that when I go home too. Is hello, hello.
Yeah.
So my kids now, when I walk in the door, they're like, hello, hello.
That's awesome.
So that has become my MO, and I didn't realize I said it all the time until my customers start doing it too, and they're like, hello, hello.
That's great.
Like, no, that's funny stuff.
That's
It's funny, not hurtful or anything, but
Right.
just funny. One of those things you're like, oh, okay. So, but we all have them.
Yeah.
And I guess going back to the beginning of that little conversation is ask people what you're doing well, and ask people what you're not doing well, and they'll be more reluctant, especially if you're a little more of an angry individual, a little more responsive. But be open. Do not lash out at them. Don't try to explain yourself. Nothing. Just listen and write it down, and then go
Yeah.
figure it out, because
you can't build muscle without tearing the muscle a little bit, right?
Right.
I mean, the bodybuilders look great like that because they tore down their muscle to rebuild it.
I thought that was a disease. I saw ripples on their stomach. I'm like, oh, he's got tumors or something.
Yeah, right. Muscles on top of muscles.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And it's that self-reflection and help and thank them for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end, thank them. That is the final is, hey, I truly appreciate this. Thank you for being such a friend.
Yeah.
If they're close enough, you can give them a hug. Give them a hug. Let them know that relationship is not damaged, and that you truly do appreciate that, because it's tough for people to tell you what you're not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I have
everybody wants to be nice, like or some people may not even know your business and be, well, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything because I don't know anything about your business.
Right. However, that's right. That's it. And it's tough to go to people that are authority figures of you.
Yeah.
And work it both ways, right?
Yeah.
Is maybe they'll ask you, and be honest. Be honest. Don't hold back. So be honest with that.
Yeah.
And when you're calling for coffee, and you're calling the greats for learn from greatness, also call a couple of new people in the business. Just be like, hey, I see you're out there rocking it. What questions do you have? How can I help you best? And he may never work with him on a deal. You may never nothing. But if nothing else, you've at least given them a vision of the future.
Yeah.
So if you're just starting out, learn from greatness. And if you've been in the business, talk to these new kids that are coming to business.
You might be the greatness somebody needs to learn from.
Yep. Or they might think you're the greatness and learn
Sure.
you're not, because there are people that
Man, you got your name on your car.
Yeah. That's right.
You must be
when I have my billboard, it's we're at church and the kid comes in, he goes, "Oh, that guy's a celebrity." I'm like, not a celebrity, man. But it's funny. That's right.
Let me sign your bulletin.
$20 for the autograph, right? Now that would be funny. That'd be funny. So that is funny stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities to get out there and learn things.
Hey, we just want to let people know, just remind them about the Neighborhood Pulse. We've got a ton of past episodes out there on Spotify. If you go to the neighborhood, _neighborhood_pulse, you're going to find it on Spotify, anchor.fm. You can go back. It's just great stuff about the real estate world, a couple of years worth anyway, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a ton anyway. You can also catch us out. You'll see us live right now, the Neighborhood Pulse on YouTube. Neighborhood Pulse, not on Facebook, or did we? Yeah, we're on Neighborhood Pulse on Facebook too. 216 the Net Twitter. You can join Apple Music and just punch in 216 the Net at any time. You can catch us live all the time there, which is fun.
How'd you get a fly in here?
Those are those little Asian beetles. It's warm enough that these guys are popping back up.
Right. I'm not seeing things though, right? It's actually
there's been a couple in here.
Want to make sure because we're in winter here. I want to make sure. I'll tell you. So, and then the other thing I would say, and people laugh about it sometimes. They say, "Oh, you got initials after your name. Nobody knows what they mean anyway. So why have them?" Right? Yeah. Those are the people that are not taking education and not investing in their careers. Yeah. Okay, people that are saying that. Get your degree, get your certificates, get your designations, get their C2EX, which is an amazing program. It's Realtors Commitment to Excellence, and it will take you through every step, and it will teach you as you go along. And as you take these exams, if you don't pass, you got to study it again. You got to go through, and it's really a great opportunity. ABR, I think everybody when they're starting the business needs to get it. It's their accredited buyer's representative. Oh. And it's how to work with buyers, how to explain agency, how to not screw up, how to treat people, program your interview papers, your buyer's representation, program they'll help you put that together so you can talk to a buyer and show them the process because they're buying the first time. They don't know what to expect. We have a book we give them, and it's got every definition. It's got everything. If they haven't bought in 10 years, they don't know what to expect either. So it may not be their first time, but they don't know what to expect. That's true. Yeah, we've had that conversation. Hey, you haven't bought in a while, so here's a book. This kind of catches you up to speed. So get your certificates, your ABR, your SRS, your seller's representative, certified residential specialist. When you get that one, get it. There's only 2% of the realtors across the United States that have it. Wow. And I am one of those. Whoop, whoop. I am pretty proud of that one. It's an accomplishment to get the CRS. GRI is another really great one to get. The C2EX is amazing. Those are a little bit when you're further in your career. You can't get those right quick. So there's a lot of them. Military representation. There's cryptocurrency. There's just so much. Seniors, how to represent seniors properly. Divorce, and now there's divorce certificates and designations coming out. COVID did do one thing: increase the divorce rate.
Sure did.
That's for sure. So so that's unfortunate. And then the short sale and foreclosures. I mean, those are going to come down the pike at some point. Yeah, the banks have been holding back. Right.
Missed them for the last couple of years. They may be back in 2023.
That's it. There's some hungry investors out there, man. So when they do hit the market, it's going to be interesting. And I'm not sure what the holdup is. I'm not sure, why the banks are still holding on to them. You're seeing a few more, but we're not seeing a ton of them. So, but they are hiring the manpower to staff those positions to cover the paperwork and such at the banks and at the state and federal levels as well. So Fannie Mae and Freddie, they'd like to get their money back at some point.
They sure do.
And the interesting thing is, see that I used your term. The interesting thing is they're not necessarily used to be. They get a foreclosure. People weren't paying. They'd go evaluate it. They say, all right, in its current condition, it's worth $200,000. Sell it. Now they're coming in and they're putting new flooring in. They're painting it. They're putting in new furnace, new appliances, whatever the case is, and then they're reselling them at a higher value. which is not the best thing for investors.
Right.
And it's not necessarily the best thing for people that are just starting out who are trying to get something that needs a little work that they can put that sweat equity into. So I have mixed emotions about that because there are some buyers that can't do the work. So I'm happy for them. But for the people that are looking to do a little sweat equity or the investors, it's going to be a little more challenging to come across the deal. So, but work with those folks, and talk to them. The other thing, I know we're going through a lot of information today, so I apologize. But I'm trying to get it all in before the end of the year.
The old fire hose.
We did.
Yeah.
Is get your designations. What was the next thing was credit counseling. So there are a lot of people through COVID who were not working, who weren't making all their payments on time, maybe got in a little bit more debt than they had hoped. Is connect yourself with people like whoops, that's for me.
It was for you.
Yeah, it was for me. So
it's a great idea.
Yes, he's killing me. You know what? Okay, he calls one more time. I'm answering it right on the air here.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get
that's it. If it's that important, call 4 times. Credit counseling. So Ramsey, hook up with Dave Ramsey Solutions. They got some great opportunities for people. Talk to your lenders. I mean, and all the lenders out there. There are some that are amazing at credit counseling, helping you get that credit score up to the next level to get the better rate, right? So would you say bad credit or debt to income hurts people worse?
Well,
right, there a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Bad
credit, definitely, because your rate's going to be higher. You're not going to qualify for as many products that are out there. And when you have a higher rate, that usually means that you qualify for less of a home because your payment's going to be higher.
Right.
And or they may just go, yeah, sorry. You don't qualify.
Right.
Debt to income is workable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some ways, get some things paid off or find income or assets or build income or out of assets or something of that nature. So there are ways to work with debt, but there's a hard way to work with bad credit.
Yeah.
That's just honest.
Right. Yeah. So bad credit. So be open to new ideas. Right now we're talking about buy downs, 2-1 buy downs, 3-1 buy downs, 10-year arms. We're talking all sorts of stuff. Be open to those programs and research them. See how you can help your clients best.
So I can think of a deal. Great debt to income, 35%. Usually, you want to be sitting somewhere between 40 and 50%.
Yeah,
35% debt to income. Not a lot of debt out there. Credit score was bad. You got turned down.
Really? There you go.
Right, because lenders now are being very cautious, very careful. Okay, with the risks that they take now, knowing that the climate has changed a little bit and knowing that rates are going to continue to go up and inflation and things. So now they're looking at a lot of things like, oh boy, your gas, your electric, everything's going to be rising.
Yeah.
If your credit, if your history has been poor, then they're like, guess who's not going to get paid? You better take it.
I'm going to have to take this one. Hold on one second. We'll put you on speaker. We're here on the radio with Cal Geiser from Home State Bank. How are you today, sir?
Hello.
How are you? You're live on the air, 211.6 The Net. How can I help you?
Hey.
What's up?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. That's right. That's it. I said, if he calls one more time, I said, I'm answering it.
Calling me on FaceTime.
Oh, no. That was me returning your call on FaceTime. Anything you want to say out there to the radio world?
Kyle, you want to plug Home State?
I'm sorry?
You want to plug Home State?
Plug. Happy New Year, Home State Bank, #1 lender in McHenry County.
There you go, Bubba.
How do they get in touch with you if somebody needs a mortgage?
How are you, Kent?
I'm good. How do they get in touch with you if they need a mortgage? Kyle's one of the best around.
Hey, that's great. Great to hear that. I appreciate it.
So how do they reach you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little off guard here. They can reach me at my cell anytime, 815-482-4404.
Beautiful. 815-482-4404. We'll get you Kyle Geiser at the Home State Bank here in McHenry County. Lends in all 50 states.
That's right.
That's right.
Awesome. You want me to give you a call in a little while, or you want to hang out?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
No, give me a shout.
You got it, Bubba. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
We got him off guard, but he is. Listen, there's a guy I've learned a lot from as well.
Yeah,
great
guy. He's a great guy.
Understands the business.
Yeah,
definitely worth the call if you're looking.
Yeah, he's a little more old school and does a lot of things on paper and pen and paper, but man, he explains it well. And exactly. So fantastic. So that was, if he calls one more time, we're answering it. We did. It's kind of like,
but I'm glad it was him. Great sense of humor. And again, check him out. You can find him at Home State Bank. If you go to homestate.com, I guess I don't know what they're.
Home State. I don't know either.
You know, and or HSB. I think it's HSB.com.
It could be.
And or look, rewind this and
to
his cell.
Kyle Geiser.
Great.
Yeah, Kyle Geiser. So that's great stuff. That's awesome.
Yep.
But we're talking. So there's a lot you can do. I forgot where we left off, but
we were talking about credit counseling.
Credit counseling.
That up.
Absolutely.
And I just shared a story where everything looked good. Had enough funds to close. Had the great debt to income. Credit score was just too low.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so people passed on it.
Yeah, it's I get it. Yeah, you got to get. So connect them with people that can help you. Talk to your lenders. A lot of lenders are involved with that. They can get that credit score up enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can pay debt off at closing. That will help. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. So make sure you're as a professional, look into these things and talk to your lenders.
Yep.
And if they're not providing those services, talk to other lenders that do. So you when you are in there as a realtor, you should have a slew of lenders, so you kind of load your gun with different bullets, for different circumstances. Like Phil is my VA guy. He's my VA guy. Yeah. Every time I get a VA, right to Phil. It's just the way it is.
We've had him on the show in the past,
we have.
I think last year.
Yep. We did. Yeah. So if you got a credit guy, if you got a new first-time buyer guy, so you might have different people for different situations, and you should always be offering 3 realtors, 3 lenders, 3 attorneys, 3 of everything, because you don't want to get caught, or be accused of being in cahoots with anybody. So
true.
So spread it around a little bit. So, and use the right people for the job at hand.
Yes,
I would say that. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And so just kind of going back through, these are just some key ideas on how to bulletproof your business for 2023. Write down your goals and share them with people who can hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
Only take the amount of business you can handle.
Correct.
And for some people, that may be 1 house a quarter. Some people, that may be 1 house a week.
Right.
It all depends, right?
Right.
Set up times for coffee with professionals that are successful to learn from them.
Yep.
In the same business. Somebody that you want to learn from. Think, you think of something like, wow, I've really respected or watched that person, and wow, because there are some greght people out there. Like I could bring up the name Sue Miller. She's like Yoda. However, a lot of people might be a little bit terrified,
intimidated
because of who she is and her reputation.
She's amazing. She's at state level, at national level. She's locally involved heavily. Sue Miller is wow. She's just amazing. I don't know how she does it all, to tell you the truth.
As Ted says, call Legal Legacy Home and Business Services if you need maintenance or cleanouts. If you're moving out or whatever on your real estate. These guys he does a great job.
That's great.
So
it's awesome.
His crew is great. So coffee with successful. Ask folks what you do well.
Yeah.
And continually say anything else.
Right.
And then ask what you don't do well.
and say anything else.
Right. And stay calm, I wrote off.
Right. Stay calm, nice and easy.
And then constantly work on your CEs and designations. Get those things because that builds confidence in you when people look at it. It also builds your own confidence because you put in the time, effort, and energy to get those designations, but really can separate you from others.
And we talked last week is when you speak confidently, know what you're talking about, and say it with emphasis that this is the way it is, and not be, well, I guess we could, because people don't like wishy-washy. They want somebody that's going to be able to take control, know what they're talking about, and get them to the finish line.
Yep, I want to get them to the finish line.
Absolutely.
Now we're on credit counseling, so understand that you may not be the credit counselor, but I think as a real estate professional, you got to understand credit, what it takes, maybe some key ideas that can help people,
right? Yep.
And or work with some good people who know how to do that.
Absolutely.
And there are places like consumer credit counseling in each county that can offer the help needed as well.
Absolutely. Yep. Look up Financial Peace University.
Financial Peace.
They have those classes around the area, so you can look those up as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of opportunity, a lot of great things. We want to wish everybody a very, very happy New Year. Hope it's the blessed year ever. And we're always here if you want to reach out to 708. Where am I talking about? 708-277-3913. Forgot my own phone number. I don't do that well, apparently.
There you go. Hey, listen, for all of us here at the Neighborhood Pulse and 216 we can't thank you enough for getting caught in the net with us and hanging out in the neighborhood. We look forward to a great 2023 with some new show tweaks and maybe a new co-host here.
Dave Clark.
On it with Dave Clark. And we're just excited about what 2023 has to offer. Folks, we wish you nothing but the safest, healthiest tomorrow. And remember, nothing good happens after midnight.
That's right.
Thanks. Until we meet again, be good, but more importantly, folks, be good to one another.
Freedom Friday. Break the chains that bind you.